Hi guys, and welcome to my first video log. I hope to do at least a few of these and maybe more, depending upon the audience reaction. What do you think about them? Make sure that you comment below. If you like the video, make sure to press like. I'd really appreciate that. But what this is going to be is about the skills that I've learned in playing poker from the book that I wrote, Mastering Poker Math, which is doing extremely well on Amazon.com. I've now turned that into a course by the same name, and also there's a mini course called Foundational Poker Math Skills, which I'll mention at the end of this video. Now, what this video log is all about is I want to teach you what I'm thinking about, some of the philosophies of poker. Some of the things, easiest way to do this is hand breakdowns. We'll talk a little bit about that later. But also beyond that, I want to talk about hand ranges and what you should be thinking about. Also with going into probabilities, making sure that you have positive expected value. That's, to me, extremely critical. And when I go into some of these things, I want you to understand what the philosophies are, as I said, and also, you know, what you should be thinking about to get the most probability of getting the highest return on your bets and so forth, and losing the least amount of money. I primarily do tournament play, so that's what these videos are going to be about. On some of the hand breakdowns, they're going to be done after I've actually had the hand at the table, because, and I'll recall them as best as I can. But these type of hand breakdowns are going to be kind of fun because they were key hands in the game, and I want you to see what I was thinking about and what actions I took. Sometimes they were really good actions, sometimes they were really bad. You know, we're all human, we make mistakes. The important thing is to learn from those mistakes, and I've tried to, and I hope that I can impress upon yourselves that that's the biggest mistake, is not to learn from your mistakes. We're all human, it's going to happen, so we got to get over it. Beyond doing some hand breakdowns, I also want to talk about ranges of cards, the probabilities. As I mentioned before, expected value is important as that is. And then also I'm going to be getting into patterns, which I think are incredibly important. Everything from the pattern of the players, your own particular patterns, the patterns of the cards, and also the patterns of the actual tables that you're at. You know, some of the tables are pretty crazy and so forth. I was been playing poker for about 4 years, almost 4 years now, and I started in the free rolls. And I live in Texas, so there were free rolls for years, and then they came over, and now we have card houses, which I play a lot of those. The Lodge is one of my favorite places, as well as Texas Card House is another one of my favorite places. There's other places as well to learn poker and play it and so forth. And the free rolls are a great place to learn, but I tell you what, it's a brick fight out there. It's kind of tough. But that toughens you up, so when you start spending more money, you'll understand some of the different types of players, some of the different types of tables and so forth, and how to play better. So we're going to start in this first video. I want to describe a little bit about what it's all about, this video log, and we're going to do a hand breakdown of a WSOP event that I played in at Choctaw just recently. And it's with pocket jacks, with everybody loves, right? Well, actually, I know people don't like those that much. But pocket jacks I like a lot because I know how to play them. I know what the probabilities are. They're extremely strong before the flop. A lot of times they're very weak after the flop. And that's the type of thing we're going to be talking about. And this is a very interesting hand. And I'd already made it into the money at the WSOP event. This is the first event that I'd made it into the money. I ended up taking 25th out of 278 players. So I was pretty excited about that. So without further ado, let's do a hand breakdown of pocket jacks when I got them, and see what we're thinking about. So this is a replay of a hand that I played in a tournament up in Choctaw, Oklahoma recently. This is a tracking book that I use all the time. This is a little bit ratty because I've used it so much, and it's now been put into the files. But this is the WSOP Choctaw Deep Stack event, and it was a lot of fun. This is the one that I took 25th out of 278 players. So I'm in the big blind. The blinds are 4 and 8,000 with an 8,000 ante. So I've already put 16,000 in. I turn over pocket jacks, which is a great hand. Under the gun, raised it to about 18,000. 3 other players call, including the small blind. So they have much larger stacks than I do, and I know the probabilities of the pocket jacks. If 3 players have been dealt, 3 other players on the table at a 9-person table have been dealt an ace, a king, and a queen, the probability of an ace, king, or queen hitting the flop is 62%. So my thought was, I didn't want to get knocked out of the tournament. I can always shove in all in afterwards, but with no fold equity and having a 62% probability of one of those cards hitting the flop, it made no sense to me at that point to risk all of my chips. Because as they say, a chip in a chair, and that's what's called, using geometric progression, which is really cool, and I talk about that in my book, Mastering Poker Math, a lot. So you can always come back. So all I had to do was get through the small blind, and then I had another full round. And we were very late in the tournament, so I wanted to conserve chips. Anyway, I flat called, and so the flop came out, and it was awesome. 8-8-4. If somebody had an 8 in their hand, I'm close to dead in the water. I get it, but I didn't figure it. I assumed I was still ahead. Small blind checks. I shove all in. The under the gun thinks about it for a moment and then calls. The 3 other players, including the small blind, fold. He turns over ace queen. He only has 6 outs, basically. 3 queens and 3 aces. That gives him, using the rule of 4, 6 times 4 is 24% probability of winning. At this point, I have a 76% probability of winning. It has to add up to 100%. So that was basically it. I won the hand, basically tripled up. A few hands later, I only had about 8 or 9 big blinds. I wake up with ace queen. Somebody had raised before me. I shoved all in. He called with ace king. A queen hit the turn and a king hit the river, and I was out of the tournament, but it was the right thing to do. I was low stacked with the ace queen. Anyway, it's kind of ironic how these things work out, but I got 25th out of 278, had my first cash at a WSOP event, and I was very pleased with my performance. Anyway, I hope this helps. Thanks for watching. Thanks again for watching this video on my first video log. I hope the other ones to improve over time. Of course, you always want to get better, right? Now, if you like this video, make sure to press like. And also, comments are incredibly important to me. What would you like to see? Would you like to see certain hand breakdowns? Do you want to see particular ranges to look at? How to integrate the math with the rest of your game? What kind of questions do you have? Are you starting out as a poker player, or have you been playing for a while and just have never worked with the math? You know, there's 2 basic ways to learn the math. One of it is to do intense learning and learn the math fairly quickly, and that way you save money and hopefully you'll make a lot more money. And then the other way is, over time, if you play long enough, the math is going to come to you whether you realize it or not. Personally, I like the shortcut, and that's why I created the book, Mastering Poker Math, and now it's a course by the same name, and also there's a mini course if you just want to get your toes wet, which is called Foundational Poker Math Skills, and I'll give you links to that here. Anyway, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you soon.